This week on It's Happening Out. The fight for equality, LGBTQ at the forefront.
Would be reviewed. Wasn't that they would be put back on.
Trump forces DHS secretary to resign.
The toughest cop around on border security, and he did not feel like Nielsen fit that bill.
On our road to Stonewall, Madonna.
For what they've been fighting for. I've been doing that my entire career. I'm glad and happy.
Chinese spy at Mar-a-Lago.
Warning that the area was restricted.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest, owner of the Parliament House, Don Granatstein. Special guest, Miik Martorell. And NapoleonPlays. And your host, fashion designer Carlos Marrero. Trans activist Aaron Phoenix. Reality star Chef Josie. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. Log cabin Republican Joe Brookman. And our host, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, good evening, America. Another exciting Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And what does that mean? It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. And we're going to prove how gay we are tonight. We are coming from the Grand Hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Wilton Manors, and we always affectionately say we're coming from the gayest place on planet Earth. And you're going to see it, and we're going to prove it tonight in our show at It's Happening Out, because we're going to talk about all kinds of things.
Not like that, in a PG-rated kind of way.
Yeah, not
sort
in,
of.
Not in a PG sort of way.
It's a live show. We don't know where we're going.
I just saw Shazam last night. We're not going to deliver Shazam tonight. All right. So let me remind you, I know many of you tuned in. More than 200,000 of you are watching It's Happening Out. We greatly appreciate that. Remember, we're a live show. You can watch us in Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of the places, whatever you like. You can watch us. But it's a live show, which means whatever these people, insert word, itches, or whatever you want to insert, it's live. And so whatever they say is whatever they say. This is not scripted. It is a live show. So
girl, we get it. It's motherfucking live.
Yeah, that's what she said.
And here we go.
We're going to have to skip my new favorite thing.
Okay. We remind you, share us now, please, on your Facebook page. Share us. Let people on your Facebook page see us now. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting things. All right. That's the housekeeping of the show. Let's get the show started. And we always like to start our show with what we think is an interesting meme of the week. And our meme of the week is up now. It's called Poor Turtle Has Resting Mitch Face. And when we saw this, we thought, wow, there's an amazing resemblance to that 165-year-old gopher.
Which one is the turtle? The
yeah,
top or
yeah,
the bottom?
You got it. Okay.
It's not fair to call that turtle Mitch McConnell.
Yes. All right. The next thing that we always like to start the show off with is the best thing of the week. Now, we're going to dive into some subjects. Last week, we dived into many subjects. We're going to play games. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to tell you about the news. So before we get into any of that, we always like to start with the best thing of the week. Now, I haven't thought about Celine Dion in a long time. Celine Dion says, hey, gay world, I'm going to come and see you. And it's ending the residency for a while in Las Vegas and taped this interesting little promotion of that. We call it the best thing of the week. Celine Dion and her drag video. Watch this.
Time to hit the road.
It only took one night with you.
Okay, kids, hang on. Thank you so much for stopping.
Need a ride? Honey, I know where you're going. The door is open. All you have to do is walk through it.
Let's go.
Let's hit it, girls. Every night in my dreams, I see you. I feel you.
It's gonna be a long drive. Would you please go on?
Look
at Celine Dion.
the queen. The queen.
Oh my
to ride. I'll hang on every word.
Give it a try.
Say. Yes. All right.
Well, Celine makes herself relevant all over again and uses the cream of the crop of the big impersonating shows in Las Vegas, and we loved it. Best thing of the week. I have to give you a little hint, wink, wink, of another best thing of the week that the hosts don't know about because I haven't told them about it. Breaking news, a best thing of the week.
It scares me when he
USA
says that.
Today newspaper has just announced the 100 greatest cities in America to live in. And Florida had a very high ranking, number 18 of the 100 best cities in America.
Wait, Florida's not a city.
And guess which city it was? Can
Wilton
everyone
Manors.
say Sarasota? Thank
They-
you.
I want to recount.
My hometown.
Of
course they
USA
don't have the
Today.
voting line.
Right.
Bitter party
think
of
there's some
five.
gerrymandering
Your
going
table
on.
is waiting for us.
Sarasota.
So where is New York on this
Where
list?
is Sarasota?
Yeah, it's one
Let's
of
add
the
the retirement community.
Oh,
Yes.
see,
Ooh.
like I said,
It just qualified as a city,
bitter
which is why I
party
made
of
the
five.
list.
All right, great news. Best thing of the week. All right. Last thing we tell you before we move into our headlines is why are you still talking? And they just proved it. I gave this fantastic news and they tried to talk right over me, America. So
You
what we
decide.
do is we go, why are you still talking? And each one of them have a chip. Let's look at this chip. We're going to have many topics. You're going to hear this obnoxious bell sound. And when that obnoxious bell sound begins, and it means we're wrapping up the segment and we're moving on. And we're challenging our hosts to shut the hell up. And let's move on. However, their drink chip is good for a $1,000 bar tab at the world famous Parliament House in Orlando.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
every
awesome.
time they throw that chip in, I get another $1,000.
Don is
bar.
nothing.
Now I know
Don
you're
is nothing
buying
if
the
not
drinks.
generous.
Don is generous. You're gonna meet a great guy in
That'll be a
just
good
a few
Father's
minutes.
Day.
But if they throw the chip in, you're going to see it on the screen. They've gone all in, and they get 1 more minute uninterrupted conversation to say whatever they want. So why are you still talking? We'll see if any of them use the chip. But caution, you only get to use it once through the show.
I think we should use the most annoying clip from 1 week as the bell for the next week. Just keep it going.
As a meme,
Yeah.
a sound meme. Okay, that's our ground rules. Everybody ready to move on? And let's begin It's Happening Out. It's going to be a great show. Stay with us. We always begin at the top of the show with headlines. And of course, after all, we're a talk show. So we talk about new and interesting things.
Okay,
First,
so we start with the top.
You saw in the news this week that a Chinese woman was captured at Mar-a-Lago. Now, first off, America, Mar-a-Lago is only about 25 miles from our location at the Grand Fort Lauderdale Hotel. The Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel, about 25 miles to Mar-a-Lago. Some guy's living in it. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but he lives in it a lot of the time. In fact, more than Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C.
Child, please, I would rather cook rice one by one than go to Mar-a-Lago.
I was just terrified. I didn't know we were so close.
No, wait.
Oh
all
my
right.
God,
So
he's
this
so
woman
close to
has
us all the
snuck
time.
in, and all kinds of security things are going on and discussing. We bring to news that apparently our national security is not very guarded very well because she told the front gate, "I'm going to the pool," and they let her right in to go to the pool. So
They were good when they came to my house.
right. Right. All right. So it's in the news.
Just a
Under a
Second,
different Ford administration.
Second, we're showing you an interesting thing that happened this week. The Queer Eye cast, not the old guys, the new guys.
Oh, thank
the
goodness.
Queer Eye cast meets AOC in Washington, D.C. And guess what? All of the gay guys got a little crazy and became fanboys of AOC. Watch this little video of some of the words they said.
What do you think of meeting AOC?
Oh my gosh, she's phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Icon, my heart beats already. But really, she's doing such good work for New York and for her constituents, and she's really such an incredible woman and really, really inspiring.
So it's interesting to us of what is the big deal? What's the big deal about AOC? Because even the gay guys from the television show, it seems like the whole world is going a-gaga over AOC. What do y'all think about what's happening in terms of the presumption that AOC is getting in America and really all over the world?
Y'all might remember that AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, by the way.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Okay. They're making fun of me. I call her AOC.
Because you can't pronounce it.
Yeah. No one else does.
So she was my new favorite thing several weeks back.
Yeah.
And
I think last year, actually. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it may have been, actually, technically.
I do
Yeah,
recall.
I mean, she's making waves, and that's awesome. And, you know, I love what she's doing. But this, as cute as it was, I mean, we got to be careful, I think, about putting celebrities on a pedestal like that and idolizing them. You know, I don't know. The gay icon thing was, I think, a little bit much.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Other thoughts?
Especially when it happened so quickly, because just like the new queer cast, she was just put into this position a year and a half ago. So she's adjusting not only to what she can help with in Congress and with the government, but actually as a famous person now.
Right.
So when she speaks out, it's learning
exactly.
curve.
And I mean, famous is a weird word because we've got a responsibility to critically analyze what she's doing.
Yes.
You know, she's writing laws.
Well, just turn on Fox.
I think that it's also interesting to note, you know, she comes from the service industry, and if you know anything about the service industry, the LGBT community is a big part of the service industry across the country. And her being in the service industry, I'm sure she was friends with many LGBT persons, and it's not surprising that she is being so welcomed and embraced by our community.
I think it's interesting. Napoleon's mention about AOC's prominence nationally. No disrespect, but I make it an interesting point. AOC has not been around even for a year and a half.
It's true.
AOC has been in office for about 90 days. That's
office,
all,
yeah.
in office, and was only elected the first Tuesday about 6 months ago. And even in our dialogue, we're stretching completely unintentional, I know, the length of the importance of AOC in American society and their politics. And it's interesting to me what we watched from Queer Eye of it being so exaggerated. So, of course, it's in the news in terms of gay guys really becoming fanboys of AOC. Next, we want to report on what's going on in Salt Lake City. The Mormons have changed a church doctrine policy this week. They have announced that they are going to allow children of LGBT parents to be baptized in the Mormon Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We show you a slide here. The question is, we have in the gay community probably a lot of strong thoughts about the Mormon Church. Is this too little or too late? What do y'all think about what's going on?
Well, I have a brother who is married to his husband for like 28 years. They have 2 kids. And to me, it was exciting to see a little movement. I think it's a little late. And also, I hate the fact that they said that the church is not changing its doctrine opposition to gay marriage and still regards same-sex relationship as a serious transgression.
Oh, wow.
So it's not so cute. It might look cute, but it's not. They're not accepting.
Well, my question is, I thought that a baptism was about purifying your soul and that it was about removing the sins. I'm not the most religious wherever you would baptize, and maybe one of you can answer this for me, but I thought the goal was that it's not about the sins of your parents. Why would the perceived sins of your parents ever be involved in whether or not you can be baptized, whatever the religion?
Absolutely.
I don't know enough about it. I've never been part of a Baptist.
Let me take up the point for the church. This is big news. The Mormon Church, was
Big news.
principally responsible for Prop 8 in California, contributed more than $20 million to defeat gay marriage in California. This is a gigantic reversal of their position in embracing the LGBT community in steps and in various steps way. Don't y'all think that it's a big move?
We could do better.
But
It's
No.
I think it speaks volumes that it is such a big move, and we got not very far with it.
Right.
You know, the Southern Baptist Church is the same way, and their official stance on trans people. I don't know about gay people. I assume probably the same. But about it being, like you said, a serious transgression.
Right.
So even if it's allowing people in, LGBT people in, it's not affirming them.
Well, it means
I don't
that
think
members-
it's a big move. I really don't think it's a big move because basically they're just saying that they're going to baptize the kids of LGBT. Okay, well, baptizing the kids is basically just saying that we are baptizing you into our faith in hopes, I guess, that you will grow up better than your parents. That has absolutely, in my eyes, nothing to do with their stance on the LGBT.
I understand that too. I'm going to move on from our news headlines, but I also remind you, significantly, we reported this in the news that It's Happening Out. The mayor of Salt Lake City is a woman and a lesbian. We had gigantic news this last week about Chicago, but Salt Lake was the first major city in the United States to have a lesbian mayor. And to be literally, the city hall is in the shadow of the temple headquarters at the Mormon Church, something that we're going to watch. Next in headlines is about the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and the Secretary's resignation.
Do we still have a Department of Homeland Security?
Yeah, we do because a wall is
Barely.
being built. But right,
It's like you laugh until you realize you want to cry.
yeah, exactly. So we have the slide here. That Trump's border policy allegedly was just too much for her in her resignation, or he fired her because she was disagreeing. What do y'all think about the news about the resignation of the Homeland Secretary?
Let me get this out, honey. I say good riddance to bad rubbish. I say, whether she resigned or she was forced to resign, the fact of the matter is that she knew what she was signing up for when she signed up for this job. Okay, she knew what Trump was all about, and she went in anyways. And the fact that she got burned by the devil, which that's what she was signing up for, was working with Lucifer. She got burned by hellfire, is exactly what would have been expected. I don't know if she expected it, but she should have. So, as far as she's concerned, bitch bye.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine. This is the face of the separation between kids and parents. This woman will never live that out. I mean, this is the face that we put with the separation. We don't put Trump's face, maybe we do, but she was the face,
She justified it, yeah.
Right? And it's
And
like,
she
this is
defen-
how you
and
want to
she-
go,
and she
bitch?
did-
That's
she
her
did
legacy.
staunchly
That's her
defend it.
legacy.
Yeah.
And
She
she's
did
a woman.
staunchly defend it.
I want to bring up a different point, though. The fact that the next person to take over for her is Kevin McCallion. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he should not be the next one in line. He's actually jumping over Deputy Secretary Claire Grady in that spot, who was supposed to be next. Why is that the case?
But
that he
baby,
could
they
just jump
fired her
over?
last night.
Is that what happened?
So
because
he
she was
could,
fired?
so he could be in.
Oh, so they fired the next person that should have been in charge.
Because
to
they
make
didn't know that she was supposed to be the next one.
So what's the scum on Kevin? Someone tell me that. What's the deed?
Yeah.
Messed up situation.
Man.
I want to take the position of defending the administration, or defending her in her resignation.
Wow.
Doesn't she get bonus points for at least eventually holding to her principles that she wasn't going to support a separation policy, and therefore she resigns over it?
I didn't even hear you after you said, doesn't she get bonus points? No.
Yeah. Okay.
I think she does because it made Carlos.
Is that
there's no
reaction?
empathy.
No, wait. Is the reaction at the table, we are so angry at the administration, we can't see any of the silver lining, even when there is sometimes silver lining?
I just think of the people and the kids that were affected, the families that were affected, the screaming mothers and the screaming babies that were torn apart, and the fact that she came out and staunchly defended this. Now she has come maybe to a full circle moment and has decided that she has to step away from it. But I feel that right now, her transgressions far outweigh her her little act of redemption, which is basically to kick rocks. Okay, bitch, kick rocks.
Yeah.
Listen, you
Yeah,
can't
okay.
separate families and then apologize. That's really what it comes down to. You know, I can't murder someone and then
yeah.
say I'm sorry, and that's all that gets to be done about it.
Heard and understand and understood. This position is incredibly powerful because immigration is going to be the topic of defense and offense by the administration running in 2020. And this is a key cabinet position that's going to be doing that. So we'll watch this in the news. Before we come out of headlines, I want to give you breaking news that happens today. The hosts do not even know of this breaking news. Production doesn't know it. We don't have a fancy or pretty slide or video to tell you. But the news is big. The news is big. It has been announced today in Auckland, in Christchurch, New Zealand, that the Prime Minister has signed an agreement that was passed by their Senate and House. It's one House body to have gigantic reform of gun control in New Zealand.
Wow.
This is significant because the vote today of the 120 members of the National Parliament of New Zealand was 119 to 1 in controlling guns in New Zealand. What is very stark on this news, in my opinion, is the public opinion in New Zealand is almost identical to America in their belief that there should be significant gun control reform. The populations of both countries feel the exact same way in almost identical percentage. But that is the only agreement between New Zealanders, Kiwis, and Americans. I remind you, the mass shooting of 50 people was just 27 days ago. They have 27 days later a national vote to ban military weapons, to ban military assault weapons, to buy back more than 4.5 million weapons in New Zealand, and ban high-capacity bullet magazines in New Zealand. And if you do not comply, you will be subject to 5 years imprisonment.
Boom.
And that passed in just 27 days, 119 to 1.
Wow.
So when somebody says, I'm praying for you, New Zealand says, in our headlines, actions speak a lot louder than your fucking words. And I'm one of the people that are Orlando proud that can say that in our headlines.
And I'm assuming that the one person that held out was the guy that got egged.
He's actually Australian. He's not the one, but that's a good joke. Good joke. All right, that's our headlines in the news. Let's do something a little lighter. Let's play our fun game, I'd Swallow That. Now, in I'd Swallow That, we encourage you to do it at home. We have shots in front of us that we're going to do. This week, we're going to do it a little bit different. We have vodka shots. I asked for something to be rainbow in color and vodka, and we have vodka shots in front of us. And oh, Josie, are we going to wipe the table with you tonight? So, I Swallow That.
Is there a theme?
It's an agree. It's an agree or disagree question. The hosts do not know the questions I'm going to ask. If they agree, they're going to pick up their shot, and they're going to down their shot and tell us that they agree with it. In other words, they'd swallow that. One last thing is Napoleon is playing with sugar water.
Woo! I get to be happy.
But all of the rest of us are doing the high stuff.
Our
Right.
country can't pass laws.
Here we
Bouncing
go.
off the walls
We ready?
soon.
I'd swallow that, America. Question number 1.
Puppy time.
Question number 1. I am ashamed of my porn search history.
Oh.
Why?
Like ashamed that it's not more? Like
No one's ashamed of they've never searched for anything in porn. Aaron. Really? There we go. Okay. I was gonna see. We seek truth here. It's happening out. All right. Question number 2. I'd swallow that. Question 2. I'd swallow that. I will use whatever pill it takes, just so I can get laid forever.
Wait, huh?
Look at he's still holding the.
No matter what, you'd find the right pill so you can continue to have sex forever.
I mean,
Can you get out
I
of
don't have
it?
this problem, guys.
Pills are great. Sex is great, but that could mean a lot of things. Like,
Yeah, is it that you're hard?
So
Anybody
there's
seen Pet Sematary?
No, you're
What about, like-
72 and you take a pill that enables your sexual ability.
But what if
Did
like
you
my
do
only
this
option?
question because of you?
What if my only?
Oh!
That's exactly my concern. What if sex
I don't
forever?
know, but I guess I'll do it for you.
America, what if sex
Wait,
forever means
and
sex
I'm-
with Al
and
Ferguson?
I'm
Is
gonna
that what
do
I'm
it for
agreeing to
Carlos.
right here?
There we go. All right.
And I'll do it for all the men in the world because women don't have that problem.
You know
All
what?
right.
If I had
All
to have
right.
sex with no one, or it had to be Al Ferguson,
Are you doing the shot or
even
not,
if it had to be
dude?
sex with you, I would do it if that was the only
Not
option.
in-
Whoa!
In the world?
Can you repeat that,
No,
please?
I just need alcohol that time, okay?
Oh, one more time. America, we really want to thank you for all of the kind words that you said about Napoleon coming back as guest host last week.
Yes.
And Napoleon, after that comment, thank you so much. This will be the last time you've ever
Send in your love and
All
your
right.
letters. He doesn't know emails.
Send pigeons.
No birds.
You got two again.
Birds are scared
All
of
right.
him, man.
I'd swallow that. Question number 3. I'd swallow that. I could be convinced to strip in front of friends
yeah,
in
sure.
the right circumstances.
Any circumstance.
Say again?
I could be convinced to strip.
Josie's
naked.
already done it.
Oh, no, ma'am.
I think that's pretty simple.
Did you say no, ma'am?
No, ma'am. I don't do that. No, girl.
Wait.
We don't bull that.
Wait, do you remember South Beach in the 90s?
I was
what?
gonna say.
Not in front of my. I don't do that kind of,
They have to pay
lesbo
her.
shit in front of my
She
friends.
got to get paid.
All right, I got to get the
For the
coin.
gig.
All right.
In front of other people that are not my friends, yes, but not my friends.
Okay, all right. Question number
That's
4.
true. Friends
I'd
can be
swallow
awful.
that.
Friends.
I'd swallow that. I would do great with my own reality TV show. I would do great with my own reality TV show.
You know it,
my
girl.
show.
If somebody doesn't,
Is that
we
the whole
should all be
question? Like-
taking this.
Wait, we're all doing it. All right.
Oh, but it's green.
So
because
hit
you're
me up,
greedy.
Oprah.
Greedy. or-
Tell me really quick. I'm curious. Now, right to the point. What's the reality show that you should be on and you'd be great at?
I would be great at showing people how to play through
Which
everything
show?
through sex.
No,
a currently
name
an existing
a show.
An
Name
existing
past
show.
or current. A show.
Oh, I honestly, I really want to be on Big Brother.
Big Brother. All right.
I have some big
What
crushes
show?
there.
And don't
So
say
you have
Top
to say the
Chef.
show?
Yes, I'm asking
Meaning,
you.
can we say
What reality show would you be great on? I'm
Oh,
asking.
on a reality show
Yeah.
that's already existing.
That's the question we're playing.
It's where you go,
Josie.
agent, get me on this
Thanks
show.
for bringing me to the earth.
My gosh.
He
I
just
think
spoke poorly.
Right to
I'd
the
be
point.
really great on The Apprentice.
On the.
Yes, you would. I could see
That was
that.
a loaded
could
answer.
see
With
that.
Arnold. Call me,
wait.
okay?
Oh, it's Arnold now on it,
Yeah.
right?
No,
It's not.
no, it's
it does-
Omarosa on it.
Oh, look, you and I are like kindred spirits,
Yeah.
okay?
I hear
All right.
evil music
All right.
playing. in the
Oh, what
Of
show?
course, mine is going to be Heidi Klum as Project Runway.
Oh.
Dole, what show would you like to be great at?
I don't know, toddlers and tiaras.
Oh,
The dark side of
America.
Toddlers and
All right.
Tiaras.
Power
We
and
get
Curious.
darker.
What would be the great
This is an
reality?
easy one for me. Bad Girls.
Bad Girl. All right. Very good. All right. Great.
Power
Question
just ready
number
to slap
5.
everybody all around.
Question number 5. I'd swallow that.
I'm ready.
Question 5. I'd swallow that. My most challenging task every day is just to get out of bed. Everything else gets easy after that.
What? No.
No, not when you go to bed at 9 o'clock like me.
By the way, America, wait, I want to call Power out on national television.
Power's about to fall
Power
asleep.
has this rule, no communication after 9 o'clock because he goes to sleep. Can you believe that? Power Infiniti goes to sleep. I, this morning at 5:43 a.m., got a text from Power, and he woke me up at 5:43 a.m.
Early to bed, early
Child,
to rise.
you're getting an 11 p.m. text when you least expect it, and then a phone call, and then another phone call. I promise.
I don't think
that's
Power's
coming.
ever called me
Shame
after
on
8
you for
p.m.
not turning the ringer off. I think my family knows that if you call, if somebody dies, I'm sorry, you have to wait till I wake up.
All right.
I
All right.
I don't turn.
Question number 6, our
Yeah,
last
you're only
question
after 11
on
p.m.
I'd swallow that. All right, ready?
Yes.
Got it.
I'd swallow that. Grindr made it famous.
Ooh.
Grindr
Interesting.
made
Napoleon,
it.
here we go.
Yeah.
Grindr made it famous.
It is how we met.
Okay,
Oh,
one more time.
shit.
I'll try to do it without anyone interrupting. Grindr made it famous. No fats, no femmes, no Asians.
Oh.
So
You
is that a
see it in
question?
Grindr all the time. People say.
The question is, do you agree with that, or is
Yeah.
that your preference?
And what
No.
do you think about that? Could you ever possibly do that?
Be with a fat femme
This
or
is,
Asian?
Or be with someone who's not into I'm
America,
confused.
are you learning my?
What is the question?
Yeah,
Let's
I
get
think
into
the
it.
question
Use
is
your
a
words,
little
Al.
The question.
stupid. I'm sorry.
The question is, could you ever see yourself being involved in Grindr and saying, which so many people say, no fats, no femmes, no Asians.
No.
Saying that or saying no something?
Well, like it. Okay,
I
let's
say
do it
no
broadly.
something.
Could you say no?
No partiers, for example. No,
don't
you
think
have to
that's
have
the
no.
same.
I just
photo.
keep it to myself,
Yeah.
if anything.
Okay.
I think that
The
No,
only thing you
I
keep to
like
yourself.
to, if I'm on a dating site and I met my wife on a dating site, OkCupid, you guys don't know that, but I just told you.
I'm
all
there.
right. I was very clear about what I
Specific,
did
yeah.
not want.
What you didn't want, what you wanted, and what you didn't
Yeah.
want.
I mean, I put no bottoms on my profile. So
Okay, so then,
does
so,
that
but not no fats, no Asians, no.
Yeah.
It's a little
none of that.
harsh.
Yeah.
Wait, you have no bottoms on your profile?
probably, yeah.
I'm taking
I'm
the
sure.
drink, even though I don't agree.
Because I know what I am. I know what I'm compatible with. And
That's
look, if I'm just trying to hook
racist.
up, oh
Carlos,
please,
I
come
want
on.
some more sugar too.
If I'm trying to hook up, I'm trying to just get
all
to
right.
the point.
Well, the reason why the question is being asked is because a very significant number of people in Grindr say it. And the question challenges
to Al.
Like in our open conversation. No, serious. Now we move to a serious observation.
I was.
We have difficulty embracing it publicly, but so many gay men have no problem doing it privately. And what does that say about us? No fats, no femmes, no Asians.
That our culture raises us to have certain types that we think that we like, but we're not open-minded enough to actually embrace them.
Oh, so like at this table, if any, no, I'm just taking it one step farther. Why couldn't we, if we felt that way, we would be comfortable in saying it? Even in this open conversation.
I mean, I'm not that mindset, so I don't really know how to put myself in the mindset.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
it's
know,
super judgmental. You
It
know,
is
I mean, it's
judgmental.
super judgmental. I mean, I can understand if you say no bottoms because you know what you like, and I get that. But when you say no fats,
That's
no
different,
Asian,
yeah.
that's like totally derogatory, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's
That's
not
taking
even
it- you know,
nice.
that has nothing to
if we're
do with
completely
that's not
honest,
even
if we
nice.
are completely honest,
Please, which we're pursuing.
if we are completely honest, I really don't think that there's that much of a difference between no bottoms and no fats or whatever. It's what you like and stating it. It's just that we, as a society, view it as taboo to say something. It's very rude. It is very rude to say that. But the truth of the matter is, we all have our likes and our dislikes. And if we're honest with ourselves, even if you don't say it, you still know that you're going to reject something that you don't like, whether it's fat, whether it's Asian, whether it's this, whether it's that. I don't feel, and I've said this before, I do not feel that it is wrong to have preferences. I just feel that it's wrong to have an attraction to somebody, for example, a black person or an Asian person, and be afraid to explore that because they're black or Asian. That's where I feel.
Well, that comes back to your loss, right? Like if you have and you're so close that you don't know the person that you're waiting for, the love of your life may be, a fat femme or Asian, right? If that's the
Or all
preference,
three.
you like put yourself in this little box. But Mike, what I hear you saying is, when I think about that, I also know that it's a dating site, right? So but you can also just delete the invitation or someone's message. You don't have to be that way.
Like I said, it is rude. It's not really a dating site; it's a hookup site. But
thank you for the clarification.
but it is. Like I said, it is rude. But I just feel that honestly speaking, we all have our preferences. I wouldn't do that myself because I have lived long enough and learned in life that when things that I thought I didn't like, then I've had experiences where I did like, and so I can't really
And
say that anymore.
I'm just a leather
That's for
slut.
me.
I'm really open to anything that happens because I think, I mean, not that all people are attractive, but they can be, and I'm
Yeah.
usually more willing to try it. Like I've said in the past, 4 out of 5 people I at least want to see naked because I'm curious. So I probably, I mean, out of those odds, I'll probably play with at least 3 of them too. So, you know, comment.
We
like-
know.
The conversation,
Your points,
honestly,
extra
did you
points.
have something
Well,
else?
kind of, yeah,
Conversation.
because that's
I like
actually
it.
it's a parallel
comment.
conversation to one that comes up a lot in the trans community about is it transphobic to not be into trans people or not be willing to sleep with trans people, you know? And I feel kind of
And
the
what's
same
the
way.
answer?
Well, it depends who you ask. What the answer is, it's a really nuanced kind of
I'm asking you.
If you're asking me, I don't think that it's transphobic. No, to not be into it. If you're in, there, consent is still a thing. You know, so if you're into something and you're down with, you know, whatever type of sex you and someone else might have, then awesome. If you're not, you're not. That can't be held over somebody's head as being transphobic.
I just want to try for a second. As we close, I'd swallow that. A 20,000-foot observation. None of the hosts knew this question was going to be asked, and I love the last 5 minutes of
Me too.
conversation because something gets explored here which is way different than the conversation that we watch in Grindr. It is a very painful observation that is made, but perhaps, as in observations, it's a reasonable note. It's just a preference note, and maybe it's how we express it that is the problem, etc. So very interesting to me, and that is our game. I'd swallow that. We invite you to play along with us, America, as we do this every week. It's a really good game. Okay, all right. We are going to move on to really interesting news that happened this week, and we're getting ready to now talk about the Parliament House. And we're getting ready to introduce. You're not even seeing now, Napoleon, in your wave. This week, it actually took place in January, and in January, Logo New Now Next did a poll, and we're getting ready to show you some video on this about the 50 top most popular gay bars in America. And the new poll from New Now Next caught our attention. And that is because a relative newcomer that's only been around for 174 years broke into the top 50. And they didn't break into number 46 or number 41. They moved from outside the poll to number 1 instantaneously. And because I've been friends, and many of us have been friends here in Florida with this gay bar and hotel and the ownership of it, we said, oh, we've got to do a segment on this at It's Happening Out. And so we're going to welcome Don Granatstein, the owner of Parliament House. And Don, make sure you keep that microphone real close to your mouth. Welcome to It's Happening Out.
Thank you.
And Don, tell us about, you've had the Parliament House how long?
Susan and I are going to be celebrating in August 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
Wow.
Don and Susan Granatstein, and I assure you I've known Don and Susan a long time. Susan's by far the better part of that partnership.
No question.
And no question about it. And how long has the Parliament House been in existence?
We're celebrating in July 44 years.
44 years in July. How does it finally sit with you to finally be recognized in 2019 as the most popular gay bar in America?
Well, they definitely made a mistake for the other 43 years.
Exactly. For those of you who have not known, and I know many of our viewers know for sure, you have a very famous house drag queen who is the be-all at Parliament House, Darcel Stevens, and we say hello to Darcel.
She's a be-all everywhere.
She's a be-all, exactly. Parliament House has one of the greatest entertainment programs in America, the Footlight Theater, big sponsors at Gay Days. They do amazing shows at the pool, as you can see from the video package that we just showed you. What is it? Don and Susan, married couple, so I won't make any assumptions, but I will just say straight married couple, owning the most popular gay bar in America. How is that for you?
Well, I'm glad to follow. Let's swallow that or something.
There you go. I swallow that, have a shot.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
It's actually, I find everything in life is fate. Everything sort of leads you to the next step. And we started as partners with Debbie Reynolds in Las Vegas. And Debbie was considered one of the more gay-friendly entertainers around. And we brought in the Kenny Kerr Show and Female Impersonation Show. And actually, when we left, Susan drove me crazy, like usual, and was insisting on opening a gay bar.
Wow.
And I told her it was impossible for us. I mean, I didn't know how to go to a community and say, like us, you know, we're straight, but we really like you. And we thought it was impossible. And the way fate always works, someone called me because I have a timeshare background, and I was with Westin Hotels and Debbie and everything else. And someone called me and said, do you know the Parliament House? I said, I know what it is, never been there. And they said, would you build a timeshare next to it? And I went up to see it, and I have to be honest with you, I said no. And the reason I said no, because it was in terrible shape. And I didn't understand how to build a timeshare next to a place that was being run down and not looked after. And as fate has it, I then got a call about 3 months later and said their deal fell apart. Would I be interested? And Susan was jumping up and down. So we bought the Parliament House 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's amazing. Don and Susan and the Parliament House for America, first off, the exact same thing that I tell you about the Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel here in the gayest place on planet Earth. The one thing that the Parliament House will never be able to claim is that they're the gayest place on planet Earth. Oh, wait. They've got Walt Disney World. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
The other magic
kingdom.
kingdom.
Exactly. You're the other magic kingdom right up the Florida Turnpike. But the one thing that you must do is you must come to Orlando, and you must come to one of the events at the Parliament House, Orlando Pride or Gay Days or so many events through the year. Tell us about some of the charitable contributions you do. The Parliament House is in perpetual community service. Tell us about that.
Well, we really always have believed whatever we do is you have to give back to the community you work with. And to us, that's probably key importance more than anything. And right now, we're in the middle of, on April 15th is Babes in Bonnets, which supports the Orlando Youth Alliance. To us, it's probably the main event of the year. I think last year we raised over $30,000 for them. Wow. It started off as by Carmela Marcela Garcia.
Oh, I love her.
Yes, me too.
She's a great MC.
Very good friend
Miss
of mine.
Continental.
She's a great person.
Yes.
And she started this, and it used to raise a couple $1,000s. And after thinking about it, instead of auctioning off bonnets, we went to every bar in town and every gay business in town and told them they got to do more to help the youth. And what we did is they have to give something away with their bonnet in order to make it valuable, such as JetBlue tickets or anything else that you could think, a trip, a cruise, anything. And all of a sudden, instead of raising $2,000, $4,000, we raised $25,000 that year, and now we're up over 30, and we're the main supporters of the Orlando.
I'm curious, how many organizations? Wonderful. That is wonderful. How many community and charity organizations through the year do you think you support and you raise money for? Just a ballpark.
20.
It's really quite amazing. One of the things that I can't let the segment and Don get away with is Parliament House is centric for my whole life. The Parliament House will be centric in the Pulse tragedy. I was at Orlando Regional the morning of the 12th. Everybody knows the story about Eddie Sotomayor. When we left, I was basically in shock from Orlando Regional. Of course, the entire community was. As my friends, Richard Millian and Mike Brooks, were taking me to their house with my best friend Daniel Milks. We were going to their house, and I said, no, please, I don't want to go to your house. I want to go to where the gay community is going to be right now. I want to go to the Parliament House. I don't know if you've heard this story, but we went right from the regional center to the Parliament House. When I got there at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon of June 12th, already on the sign at the Parliament House, it even chokes me up, even to this day as I say it. A Pulse United message was already on the sign. There were hundreds and hundreds of people in the courtyard from the gay community in Orlando coming. I went into this mammoth dance club that you see in the video. There was nobody there. DJ Brianna, who is watching right now, called me right before the show and said, make sure you take good care of Don, which of course would happen anyway. He was in the booth, came down, we hug and start crying, standing on the dance floor by ourselves. I turn around and Don and Susan are standing at the door. because they hear that I'm in the Parliament House. And we walk up, and the three of us hug each other in that first embrace about what happened at Orlando Pulse. I will never be able to thank you for that
It's
moment.
not thanking.
Ever.
We were in Sarasota when it happened, and
My town.
and drove back. That's right. I had to say that, but yeah, and we drove back. It was just too unbelievable a time. It really was. But I don't know. Just something interesting. A little aside. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or not. Everybody wanted to interview me, and I couldn't. It was really the truth. And I sort of felt that it was the wrong time for me to be talking. I just wanted to be with the community.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It was an
Very
amazing day.
strange time.
And when we read the news about the Parliament House finally being recognized as the #1 most popular gay bar in America, Don has driven down 4 hours to do the show tonight for us to be able to give some accolades to a 20-year straight couple being so centric in the gay community in Central Florida and really all of Florida and all over America.
We are
I
so
would like to
honored.
say, I would like to take the opportunity. I would like to take the opportunity because I don't know. Every time that I see Don, I'm working at Parliament House when I'm there. But I would like to take the opportunity to say to Dawn and to Susan, who is sitting out in the audience, too bad we cannot pan a camera on her.
She would be very mad at you.
But to Dawn and to Susan, you know, I would like to take the opportunity to say, you know, when we leave this earthly life, we don't leave with anything material. We don't leave with any of our riches. We don't leave with any of our money. All we leave on planet Earth is our footprint and whatever legacy or positive impact that we have left in this world. And on behalf of myself and so many other people in our LGBT community, LGBT plus community, that you have impacted, the both of you have impacted in so many ways over the years, over the decades, I would just like to say a heartfelt thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you've done for our community, for everything that you've done for us as performers, for us as DJs, for us as nightlife industry people, just everything that you guys have done. I don't know if you can fully grasp what you mean to us. I don't know if you'll ever be able to grasp that, but let me just tell you that you are truly a powerful force, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Well,
thank you.
Everyone in South Florida, eventually, when Don and Susan came into the hotel, the general manager came out and he said he basically fanboyed over the Parliament House and how much he loved it. And I made a joke. I know what that means at the Parliament House. But again, we thank you, Don, for being here, and we congratulate you. This milestone is really, really quite significant. Now, Don, you stay put. We're going to move on, something a little heavier. We're going to talk about the 1968 Equality Act and the Civil Rights Act about fighting LGBT discrimination and some of the news in the headlines about that. So before we begin, let's watch this video from our very favorite Ben Carson on this subject. Watch this.
40% of homeless youth are LGBTQ. Put another way, LGBTQ youth are 120% more likely to become homeless and far more likely to be discriminated against at shelters. A relevant HUD rule from 2012 and a regulation from 2016, they remain in effect. So how will these grantees comply with the regs without this guidance, sir?
Well, in fact, the guidance was pretty much obliterated by the 1216 rule. And we've gone back and studied it very carefully and concluded that putting that sub-regulatory guidance there actually confused the issue and made a lot more regulations necessary. And we're trying to simplify things. We have not removed the rules. We have not changed the rules at all.
HUD missed by almost 6 months a deadline that was in the appropriation report to review the guidance you took down.
The agreement was that the guidelines would be reviewed. It wasn't that they would be put back up. And they were reviewed, and it was concluded that the 2016 rules obliterated the guidance that was there and confused the issue. If you have a rule that tells you what to do, You don't need more guidance on that.
All right, we are all now more stupid than we were when we came in the room today, sir. Thank you.
Well, I think that says it all. We're more stupid today after what we hear. Secretary Carson really challenges us in saying that we don't need to define our rules because the rules are good enough. And dramatic change, which is the point of the history, and our issue about adding, the Democrats wanting to add LGBT protections to the Civil Rights Act. Then Matt Gaetz, Congressman Gaetz, makes this strange note, and then we're showing you a slide about it, of going, well, basically, Donald Trump could really be considered, he is so supportive of women, for example, that he could be the first female president. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting to see what he'd be like if he was the first female president? And that's a little tongue-in-cheek joke.
Howard, can you do a little better makeup over here?
Cis people are at it again.
Can we do something better here?
All right, so it is what it is in terms of the civil rights
He's very passionate.
And the addition of LGBT equality. What do y'all think about?
Well, let's just expound on what Matt Gaetz said. I don't even want to talk about Ben Carson because he is just stuck on stupid. He's just really too dumb to mention. So,
yes, thank you.
Matt Gaetz tried to make the argument that we don't. He's afraid to implement LGBT rights because bad actors might take advantage of it. That was really what his argument was. And this is, once again, an example of a Republican acting like a Redumblican. You are going to, who is anybody to deny what is basic human rights? This is what gets me. You don't even have the right to say, I will or will not give these rights. These are our rights. These are our rights already. And the fact that we are having a conversation about if we as a marginalized society should be able to have the same equality, liberty, freedoms, and rights and pursuit of happiness that everybody else has is absolutely ridiculous. Just from that standpoint alone, it's absolutely ridiculous, it's insulting and offensive. And Matt Gaetz really needs to sit his ass down somewhere on a cactus plant because he, to make that argument is ridiculous. To say, for example, Jussie Smollett was accused of using a hate crime for personal gain. Should we now, because he was a quote-unquote bad actor, should we now eliminate hate crimes or not take any victims of hate crimes seriously because of Jussie Smollett? No. You cannot forego doing the right because you're afraid of what might be wrong.
That's very true. You have to worry about how things can actually be exploited now by Trump in many cases, not how they potentially could be exploited in the future. But this is all over the media in all sorts of ways. I mean, we have TV show after TV show showcasing how trans rights are not going to affect other people in a negative way. On South Park, we see that Cartman wants to be a trans individual in that episode, and it gets shot down because he wants a public bathroom, even in elementary school. And in elementary school, everyone wants a private bathroom. Or in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when they go through the whole debate over who should have private bathrooms, trans, not. Is it just people going to number 2 or number 1? It's a conversation because nobody wants to be publicly
Can y'all just let me pee and leave me the fuck alone?
Me too.
Can you just hop on out of my pants? Leave my big me and my big dick energy to what we got to do and just mind your business.
That's all
everyone
wants.
Bubbles and Pearls, we have a sign that says whichever. I don't even care. I'm not even going there. You know what I mean?
That's a soundbite that should be heard. When you go to Josie's restaurant, Josie and Marcy's restaurant in the gayest place on planet Earth on Wilton Drive, it's called Bubbles and Pearls. And when you go to the bathroom, it says whichever. Yeah, and that pretty
You could
much
be an
says it.
alien. I don't care.
It's true.
Maybe I am. Maybe I got tentacles down there.
All right. Well, I
That's what the T in LGBT
I think
is
the
really
congressman hits it. We're dumber
Drawn
after
together.
the testimony than before you walked into the room, and that's where we're.
I was not even going to dignify
I
it.
wanna-
Well, Ben Carson couldn't get any dumber.
Yeah,
So
it's funny. Just very quickly, when I watched this video for the first time today, I asked the production coordinator, who had put it together. What did he just say? Because I couldn't figure out what he had just said. It's
My
amazing.
note card said Ben
What
Carson.
did you say?
huh?
Stuck on stupid?
Stuck on stupid.
Stuck
Oh
on
my
stupid,
God.
Right.
that
All
was-
right.
and
Let's
Redumblican.
move on. We're not going to.
Redumblican.
It's happening out is not going to be stuck on
Redumblican. I
stupid.
love
So
it.
let's move on and let's incorporate our fashion guru on our program called Hot or Not, our new series. Watch this quick video introduction of Carlos.
I love that picture.
I was just watching
Just
Carlos.
a picture. No video.
Oh, I thought it was
That's all-
video.
that's
Oh,
all
you
you
didn't
need.
rate
You
for
can get my
video.
porn at OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
So
all right.
Carlos, very quickly, hot or not? I've changed since I was last on before I was taken off for the juice swab. What are
This
your thoughts?
accessory is giving me very like Chicago
IML.
mail letter. Yeah.
Well, that's good
IML
because
weekend.
I wanted to help promote one of Don's events. It is over Father's Day weekend. It's Florida Leather, Sir Leather Boy, and I was the 2017 title holder of that year. So
feeling you.
I knew you had a crown, bitch.
you all taking this off me.
Normally I would
He's won
read
a
you.
pageant. He's won a
Yeah, I
pageant.
know.
And then I
Normally
won
I'd
the
read you for
Community
that.
Award
Right.
internationally. It was a
Wait,
paddle that is used on me
It's my
to this
first
day.
opportunity to say it in tonight's show. Wait, did you name drop in terms of some kind of branding and embracement of some event you're doing at the Parliament
It's
House?
for
Is that what you
Don.
just did?
It's an event at
Oh,
his
it's for
house.
Don. It's for Don. Right. Got it, Napoleon.
It's where I like to get hung up.
Let's
It's
try to
All
come
right,
back.
enough about you.
Yes.
So we're going to start with a fashion
Okay.
segment that we call Hot or Not.
I'm so glad
Okay.
you're here.
And
That was
today,
All right.
we
I'm
are
gonna
bringing
cuddle with
you boys because last time we
Boys.
were talking about girls.
Oh, I love boys.
And we're going to start with Aquaman, Game of Thrones,
Hot.
Mr. Jason Momoa.
Oh.
And he is wearing a beautiful blush Tom Ford, and he's wearing it multiple times. We heard here in It's Happening Out that in spring, pink was very in. What do we think about
He looks like he got a
Aquaman?
little
Do we
thicker,
think
too.
I wish
is
he
it-
would shave
Yes,
some.
like,
His
He
hair
is hot.
and-
He could wear a garbage bag and he would be sexy
So do we-
AF. Okay,
Hot?
I don't want to have him in any clothing. Not like
Really?
Yeah.
How about the jacket with
he's-
no clothing underneath?
Maybe I don't know. I've seen
comfort
Aquaman.
jacket.
I just want to rip it off of him and then throw him in the pool, or have him throw me in the
Bitch,
pool.
we're talking fashion.
Oh,
Release it to the Holy Spirit. It's fashion, bitch.
He's
What
naked or
about
with a
you?
nipple. He's a
to be
nipple
honest
man.
with you, the hair and the beard makes the whole thing a knot for me.
But you
But
can
I
grab
can
it.
see you wearing that jacket with this cute
now,
blouse that you're wearing.
Uh,
All right, so hot or not?
It is a blouse. I told him that.
That's my future ex-husband, but this one's a not. It's not the best he's looked.
Really?
Yeah,
You
not
don't
the best
like-
he's looked.
Oh, okay.
His jacket doesn't really do anything for me. Jason, however, does.
Okay,
hot.
So
he
we
can do
have-
lots of
So
things.
we are going to move.
So for me, it's a hot and a not.
Yeah, okay.
He is so hot.
Next.
So the
we're
next
moving on.
person that we have is JC wearing a coordinated pastel combo with a very cool scarf.
no,
JC.
Oh,
It's not
we
JC.
went
Oh, you trying to
wrong.
whitewash
Sorry,
Jay-Z?
bitch.
Oh, he trying to
I got
whitewash
the wrong.
Jay-Z.
I got the
child.
wrong order.
No. I think you'll have
Technical
to.
issues, folks. If we haven't
Okay,
heard it
so
before,
here we
this is
go.
a live
Thank you,
show.
people. We got JC wearing a beautiful coordinated pastel combo with a cool scarf around his head. You know how much I love my scarves. And his best accessory, guess who?
Hello.
Guess what?
The queen.
Is the
Beyonce.
queen.
I think he's her accessory.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear, by the way, this week, Shangela did a lip sync performance of Beyonce.
Yeah,
in front of
and
Beyonce.
it looked pretty good.
Beyonce.
They were
Yeah.
receiving the
I would
the
judge
award
the
from
dancing a
last
little
year.
bit, though.
Best
She could have hit her
balance,
marks a little
So,
more.
our
So
hot
what
or
do we
not?
think about the pastel suit?
I like it. It just seems kind of off-putting in terms of the form. It doesn't look like it fits him very well, and I love how the hair goes with it, but the actual
By the
make
way,
of it-
one of the things happening right now in fashion for men is double-breasted suits. They're back, and they're back with a vengeance.
they're back in ill-fitting.
I'm gonna say hot. I actually like,
like
this.
it.
I like this metrosexual look on him, and
It's very relaxed.
Yeah, it's relaxed. I don't think I've ever seen Jay-Z give up, the street look for something that looks nice. You
Josie,
know?
I could totally see you on
And
this, by the way.
Hey,
for
hook
me-
it up,
Totally
buddy. Hook
see
it
you on
up.
this.
For me, the color is beautiful. I love the white shoes, but I tell you, it is definitely hot because of the scarf headband.
Yeah,
it looks
the
I think it's
awesome.
so
Oh,
everything.
I think that guys hot. The one that's photobombing in the back with
Okay.
a little.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Like to me, that one is.
I literally only care about Beyonce in this, but just saying. But yeah, no, I like the powder blue. It's a hot for me.
I think it's hot. And I used to wear a lot of double-breasted when I was a little kid going to church. So
Me
I
too.
lived for the double-breasted.
Double-breasted is everything. Okay, so we're going
photos.
near, far, wherever you are. Cargo pants are still my nightmare. And bitches, Leonardo DiCaprio is wearing cargo pants, and I'm all about a dad bod. Hello. But he is just not accentuating his assets.
He look lumpy.
You know what I mean? He just looks frumpy. He looks like he's gonna fall from a wall and break into pieces.
He looks like a
Humpty
potato.
Dumpty. But what do we think about him?
Did you call Leonardo DiCaprio Humpty Dumpty?
I'm sorry, but you
my
need
goodness.
like.
All right.
I fully agree with you. Every piece just doesn't go together. It fits him incorrectly in all the wrong places. The hat is fine, I guess, but like, what is it that he's carrying in that?
Hot
as he's
or
going
not?
along with? Not.
All right.
Not.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Random chain because he's cool.
My gosh,
like-
I'm going to get hate mail on this. This is the fat guy who's lost 300 pounds. Leonardo in these clothes and that cargo pants looks fat to me. Is he
Oh,
fat?
there you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Not.
I actually, I put this in because my friend Frank Garcia, I just made $20. He put this live for me, and I was just like, this is everything to me. What do we think?
Not.
No.
He looked like a potato.
I think it's an obvious knot, but I think that it was meant to be a knot. He looks like he was just going to Publix.
Well, what Frank told me is like he wears this every
Yeah.
single
All right.
day, pretty
All right.
much.
But his
So we're
heart
gonna-
will go
Our
on.
next. Yeah.
If nothing
Right.
else.
So we're going to the next one, which is used to be one of my hottest
Oh, hell no.
actors, Matthew McConaughey, at the
jeez.
premiere of Beach Bum, his new movie.
Man, I
And
love
he
that.
was so hot. And sometimes you say like, wow, you're wearing the hell out of that outfit. No, this guy is wearing hell to me.
All right.
So what do we think about Matthew on this?
Let me go first.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Right?
Absolutely not.
It looks like a bad baby drag king costume. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to say no.
But it's not just the outfit, it's the hair and the shoes and the socks with the shoes. It's just hateful altogether.
I thought over the years Matthew McConaughey was so sexy.
So good.
And he is just moving down and down and down. And this one is as bad
He
as
looks
I've ever
stinky,
seen him. It's
and
a
he looks
definite
like-
not.
He's still sexy. I'm just judging
Oh.
on the outfit, not
Well,
him.
Have you seen a Cadillac
he's
commercial
a knot,
lately?
but I really love the outfit. The outfit is hot to me. I love it.
Do you
Give it to
really?
me.
You would
Okay?
with a bow tie to match, right?
Bitch, no, I have this exact outfit my mom can verify from when I was like in 3rd grade. Even the hat from
Were you the devil?
I thought that Trump was the devil and then Al was the devil. Now I'm the devil. I don't care. Maybe when I was 4 I was the devil because I wore that and it was
Wait,
awful.
how insulting is
Oh
it to
my
me
God, how do
to
you-
sit between the bookends of Napoleon Plays and Donald Trump? How can you
Whoa!
go any lower than that? All
No,
right.
it's a not for
All right.
me.
All right.
Just burn that
Let's
outfit.
do
Don't
the
worry,
last-
I'm invisible.
Are we ready for the best look of the week?
That's right.
Our
He said,
newlyweds,
Chinese woman, be quiet. That
lips
was
moving,
Al's
still
quote.
talking. Mark Jacobs just married his husband,
Aw.
I know. So
Char
cute.
DeFrancesco.
Yay.
They celebrated their union with full fashion influencers
Oh.
and drag queens, and he's wearing a gorgeous suit, and he's wearing a Chanel bag and Gucci made shoes just for him because he's like this tall. And actually, I feel like he's the best look of the week.
When you
I am
said
so
full fashion, I
thrilled.
thought you were going to say full frontal, and I was like really hyped for what was about to be on the scene.
Oh, you can do that on the internet. You
is-
can find it. It's not that big, honey.
This is definitely a hot for me, and I have to say, Etro, who's handmade, I have this jacket. I
You
haven't
do?
worn
The
it yet.
velvet
I was
one?
going to wear it St. Patrick's Day, and then I broke my arm.
Well,
but I have that.
You're
jacket.
using that
Very
arm excuse for a lot of things lately, Al. I'm just
Gotta
saying.
bring it.
Fairy godmothers in the wedding: Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss, Bette Midler, Anna Wintour, drag queens, famous drag
But
queens.
was
It
Milk
just-
there?
Milk was there, and all of the drag queens. Yeah,
Okay.
amazing. Hot or not?
I'm going to go with hot. I mean, and their love is hot, so let's, hot.
It's fashion royalty, people.
All right.
Yeah, listen, their love is hot, and his pants are not tailored and not they're too long. I love the jacket, but this thing looks like it was like not even thought about, and it's an outfit that was kind of thrown together. I'm
She
just
likes that
saying,
fire
okay?
outfit,
I'm
but
just
she
saying.
doesn't
So
like
for me, the fashion of this is not
Tell it to
working.
us, Carlos.
Listen,
man.
I have had to
What if
wear
there were
evening wear
flames?
in a pageant before, and I know I saw those not tailored pants right away. So, but the guy in the green is, and I mean, I'll get in the middle of the
He's
two of
hot,
them.
right?
I'll help him take it off. So.
I'm definitely gonna give it a hot.
Yeah,
It's,
all right.
it's definitely
Very
hot.
good.
Wait, if it had flames
So
on it,
we
would you
want
like
to we want to thank Carlos again. Thank you very much for Carlos's fashion of the week. We hope to continue to have fashion, and we also hope we're going to have some dining from Josie, and we're going to have.
Honey, we're hungry.
We're hungry.
We're hungry,
We're
bitch.
figuring out the logistics,
The
guys,
logistics,
but
exactly.
we're going to
All
make
right.
it happen for you.
All right. We're going to go on to telling you about what's going on in Brunei. Now, we reported last week that the Sultan, with all of his luxury hotels all over the world, passed a new law in Brunei to stone gay people. They own hotels like the Beverly Hills. Probably not the best thing. They have a whole cadre of people calling for their boycott. And this week, Virgin Airlines and Virgin Australia cut all ties in providing any transportation services for the country and for the royal family, which they had agreements on.
But more happened than just that.
And exactly right. The Sultan's son allegedly is gay. And let's begin on how the world learns of that. Of course, the best outing expert in the world, Perez Hilton. Watch this.
In other heavy news, today, this new law went into effect in the Kingdom of Brunei, where if you are found guilty of adultery or committing gay acts, having gay sex, you could be stoned to death. Okay. Y'all know I don't out people anymore, but I'm making an exception here. I'm guessing the Sultan of Brunei doesn't know that his son, Prince Azim, is a big ol' homo. I would know because I have spent time with Prince Azim. Part of me was a little bit concerned saying that, but you know what? This whole video, I already said it, so it is what it is. It's so hypocritical. This guy's son is a big flamer, and now he's enacted a law to stone to death gay men or women.
First, Perez outs the Sultan's son, who potentially, in the new law, could face stoning to death. So, two big issues going on in terms of Brunei having such a barbaric law, and then second, Perez Hilton outing him in the way he did. We're going to show you a couple of other slides that I'll draw attention to, but what do y'all think about what we've watched?
This has been a dream that I've been waiting for, and I've been bursting at the seam trying to say this for the last beginning part of this section. All I've ever wanted was to be a prince, and now that we have Prince Azim, fabulous he Ali Ababwa, I just need to find him and make him my prince, and it is going to be delightful. And while I don't want to be in one of the 60 UN countries that still outlaw homosexuality and make it illegal, I have to believe that we can work through it. I mean, if he is willing to spend time, the prince, with Perez Hilton, then certainly whatever that innuendo is means that he can spend time with me. I mean, I think the prince is kind of attractive.
All right.
I'm ready to be swept up.
Wait. I want to make sure I draw back to the attention of the slide. If you could bring up, Jared, if you could bring up the slide on the countries around the world. We're bringing this slide to you. Of course, I understand Napoleon's joke that he's making about the prince.
It's real.
But we're showing you here the seriousness of what's really going on in the world. First off, I have to say that the German ambassador of the United States is leading the way for the Trump administration to call for complete decriminalization of homosexuality worldwide. this slide shows you how far we have to go. If you look at the black countries, they are a death sentence if you're gay in those countries. If in the various colors of red, you see prison sentences that can be up to 14 years or more, and then lighter colors of laws prohibiting homosexuality to the blue countries, and you want to live in a blue country. So the news is significant. I want us to bring back to Perez Hilton outing. First off, he could be completely lying.
Sure.
He could be completely lying for his own interest. What do y'all think about outing in this way?
I was fucking disgusted when I saw this yesterday, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm not one for like reserving the feelings of bigots, but this was not the move. This is a new low for Perez. I mean, he put a hit out on this guy, essentially. If what he says is true, or even if it's not, just the fact that this is out there, like, he put a hit out on him, and I can't.
And I ask the question. In terms of what Perez Hilton does, he justifies his action by the ends justifying the means. So he calls out Brunei by taking this action. Do we have limits in the gay community to say, guys, we got to make sure that our own house is clean?
We do, but does Perez is really the question.
I think it's disgusting. I thought the way that he did it was wrong. He didn't have to even interject here. Just keep your mouth shut, bitch. It's not your problem.
What's not his problem?
To out him.
And not just him. He also outed one of the other princes who is known as being a playboy and having 40 women over at a time, which is also illegal in that culture. So he's outing almost that entire family, or partially the regime.
I would say that I do not agree with Perez Hilton's what he did, and I do not agree with outing anybody. However, I would make an exception when it comes to outing somebody if it was the Sultan of Brunei himself.
Right, that'd be different.
Now, if it was the Sultan of Brunei, I'd out his ass in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
in terms of hypocrisy is what you mean.
Yes, in terms of hypocrisy. And then I would hope that the people took him somewhere, put him in drag, and then stoned his ass.
Yeah.
That's what I would hope.
Any other thoughts about what we're watching in Brunei?
Hopefully he turns out safe.
All right.
His own
We're
culture.
going to watch.
What we're watching in Brunei, I mean, without getting into more of Perez Hilton, because stop giving him any energy, stop
Absolutely.
giving him any fuel for his disgusting expression, and he's making money on
Other people.
ruining other people's lives.
Well, we're going to continue to watch what's going on in Brunei. You should look up what Brunei and the royal family own in terms of hotels. If you're a luxury traveler, you have stayed in some of Brunei and the royal family's hotels. I have. I never will again, ever in my entire life. You should look that up.
Is that name drop bucket?
All right. Power's going to use his chip.
It's already in the bucket.
I'm gonna
Power's cashed in. Hand that to me because I get a $1,000 bar tab at the Parliament House in Orlando. Thank you.
Where's that?
Bitch, and we know you'll use it.
No.
I'm reclaiming my time. We spent so much time talking about jackass Perez Hilton that I wanted to shift back to Brunei and what is going on. Okay, so Brunei operates under an absolute monarchy, which means that the head of state, which is the Sultan of Brunei, is also the head of government. Boycotts over Brunei's Sharia law has already cost the hotel $1.5 million, and it is being led by many celebrities across the country. Protests, boycotts in their hotels. Now their hotels are trying to clap back and trying to defend themselves, saying that they do not have any connection to the country of Brunei. They're kind of independently run, so they're saying, but they do have connection to Brunei. So I think that we should all, as gay people, remember that by the grace of God, we just happen to live here. What happens to our brothers and sisters over there affects us. So we should all be woke, like Josie would say, and stand up for our brothers and sisters, over there in Brunei.
Okay.
And hopefully I can be the new Meghan Markle.
I'm going to move us on, and of course one of the best ways here in America and anywhere in the world to overcome issues like this is to organize pride events. And there's an interesting pride coming that we have a special guest that we want to talk about, and that is the Caribbean Pride Fest. And we have prepared a little bit about this unique Pride Festival of the Caribbean nations. Watch this. Thank you, Jared. What we're showing you here is an interesting pride here in South Florida called Caribbean Pride Fest. And in a moment, when we finish this video, we're going to introduce you to the president of Pride Fort Lauderdale and the coordinator representative to talk with us tonight about Caribbean Pride Fest. And of course, all of y'all know him. All of y'all here, our hosts, know him because he was the one that was sitting right next to us when we broadcast live at Las Olas and A1A. He was one that was sweeping A1A and making sure that it was clean and clear when the Pride Parade began. And we welcome our special guest, Miik Martorell. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're really happy to hear you. Oh, of course.
And we wish him a happy birthday.
Is it your birthday?
Happy birthday.
Congratulations. Why are you doing It's Happening Out on your birthday? You should be out having, you are having fun. That's
I'm having fun, absolutely.
Exactly.
And not just that, but we're a month out from Caribbean Pride Fest, so if we don't get the word out.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, the Caribbean Pride Fest caught our attention because, of course, Pride Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to talk about another Pride in a moment in 2020. But Caribbean Pride Fest caught our attention because South Florida is a melting pot, and the Caribbean is not generally as well known in terms of embracing gay LGBT rights. And so Caribbean Pride Fest caught our attention. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, actually, I'd love to take credit for starting this, but we are just the new promoters or the new organizers of it. This actually started back with SunServe, and it's been going on this will be the 5th year. And SunServe came to us last year and said, as much as we love this, unfortunately, we're a social services agency. We're not an event promoter or event planner, and they wanted to see this continue to grow. The 2 years that I've been is the most organic event. It literally, the group of people that come in just bring their talents and skills and family and friends together, and it is really such a beautiful thing. You walk out of there with a smile on your face, whether you love the Caribbean or hate the Caribbean or whatever, you're going to walk out with a smile on your face, and it was something that made me very addicted to the idea of us getting involved with it. So,
Mike, I'm curious, with the banner of Caribbean Pride Fest, a lot of our viewers around the country and outside the United States might not be completely clear how the South Florida community embraces the Caribbean, or even where or what countries are involved in the islands of the Caribbean. Explain that a little to us.
Broward County is a very unique county. There's over 100 languages spoken in the homes here in Broward County, and there's one amazing thing is that we are truly a melting pot. My friends, my family, I'm of Cuban descent. That's in the Caribbean. Puerto Rico's in the Caribbean. And where are you from?
Trinidad and Tobago.
I knew it. Okay, I was just didn't want to get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad. So obviously this is part. But Kitty's from the Bahamas. We just have so many people that are representative here, and a lot of the people that are here aren't here because they necessarily want to be here. Not that they don't enjoy being here, but they can't be in their own countries, their own self. I mean, we put up a post on our Pride Fort Lauderdale page a few years back, a couple years ago, and it was a Jamaican a news report on a Jamaican TV station. Now, I want you to see what makes the news. Literally, a guy's putting on lipstick in the street. People were up in arms about it.
Mm-hmm.
He ran into a local a clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
They locked him in. The police were called.
Yep.
Hundreds of people were outside.
I saw that.
And they were saying, "We want him out of here." I remember it hit my head like I was like, I cannot believe somebody just said they want him out because he was putting on lipstick.
And they would have chopped him up with machetes.
And the police
They would have
came,
chopped him up.
They put him in the car. They shook the car. I mean, this is going on. I know this is about 5 years old, the news report, but that's why a lot of people are here. And they don't get the same attention at Pride Fort Lauderdale or any other Pride. No offense to any of our Prides, but this is something that really deserves its own magnifying glass.
Yep.
It needs to have, because there's so much culture that goes on in the Caribbean that it just cannot be expressed universally in one event. It really has to come
Mike,
across.
I have to tell you, I've listened. Of course, Mike is the president of Pride Fort Lauderdale, had a historic parade, literally historic, on A1A, the
That was
famous.
epic.
It was. And all of
Epic.
the high school bands that were in that parade on the beach road in Broward County. It was amazing. I've heard you speak many times, but I don't think, even in all of the times I've heard you speak about Pride Fort Lauderdale, I've heard the passion that I've heard in just the last couple of minutes, which is very interesting to me. Caribbean Pride Fest is when? Tell us about the details.
It's going to be Saturday, May 11th. We're moving it to Huizinga Park in downtown Fort Lauderdale, which is a much, much bigger place than it was in the last few years. But most importantly is that I actually have a special announcement to make, which I'm making in 2 seconds here. We really want to expand beyond just Jamaica and actually I can bring that out now. Grand Cayman, which is great now because that used to be a country that if you were on a cruise ship, you may not be able to get off.
Yeah,
remember?
exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't that long
in
ago?
the cruise industry?
There you go.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
why.
Right.
Well, so two things. We've been talking to through Interpride, which is an organization that we're involved in. One of our members, Ashley Mayfair, was on the phone with the people just yesterday from Jamaica, Kingston Pride, which, believe it or not, there is a pride. And there's a couple small prides in Jamaica, and they're going to be coming, and they will be part of our event this year.
How cool is that?
And our goal is to really involve other countries, let them know they're welcome. We want them to be here and be part of it. But I think what's going to make it this year is entertainment-wise. Is we have a special announcement. We just signed a contract just a couple of hours ago with Amara La Negra, who is on Hip Hop Miami.
I'm in love with her.
She's Dominican.
Awesome.
You guys are the first to hear it.
Hey. News and it's happening out.
Definitely happening
Broke right
out
here
now.
first.
So and it's really exciting because she's going to bring a focus on the entertainment aspect, but also the fact that I don't think reggaeton even really gets any attention as far as the artist, and not that that's all she does. She does everything, but I just feel that we're now opening up to the culture, the multiple cultures, and what we can do. I've been a DJ this is my 25th year DJing. So I find music is a wonderful way for all of us to get together. Right. In fact, I fall in love with you every time you DJ. And I walked by you on the stage at Miami Beach Pride this year, and I was looking. You didn't see me, but I was looking while I was volunteering. And it was amazing, and it's great because it does cross ages. It crosses everything. It's cultures. It really does. People love to be together, and the one thing I find. About all of us as a people is that we fight a lot, but we really don't want to fight. We'd rather be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, I congratulate you. Caribbean Pride Fest to America. If you're here in May, tell us the date one more time.
May 11th. That's Saturday, May 11th from 2.
In downtown Fort Lauderdale.
From 2 to 8.
It's Saturday and Sunday.
Just Saturday.
Oh, just Saturday.
We're going to start out one step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very unique concept, very different than prides that you may be used to in your town or where you can get to. Celebrating a lot of international flavor in one event. So congratulations to that. I cannot let Mike get away and taking an opportunity to tell you the uniqueness of this organization. Again, we congratulate Mike. Mike was the leadership of Pride Fort Lauderdale, and you did an amazing job. Your organization was amazing, amazing, amazing. They are going to up the ante, and in 2020, Pride Fort Lauderdale here in South Florida is going to modify their Pride schedule, and they're going to move from the middle of the spring to April. and they are going to do a much bigger Pride that is going to celebrate what is called Pride of Americas, Pride of the Americas. And it's going to celebrate the multicultural nature of North America, Central America, and South America, and inviting people from all over the Western Hemisphere to South Florida to celebrate its first Pride of its like ever in history. Like a world Pride, but focusing just on the Western Hemisphere. Very quickly, tell us about that, Mike.
Oh, it's never say very quickly and ask me to say anything. First, this all came out of an idea, and I want to thank Edgar Reyes. Edgar is out there. He was the one that orchestrated the whole Amara coming to Pride, to Caribbean Pride, and I don't want to forget anybody. And obviously, I don't do this alone. There are lots of people behind the scenes and that are on our board that make this happen. People who give up their time freely, to make it happen. We're all volunteers, so that's important. So anybody who wants to volunteer, we are always looking. But getting back to this,
the dates?
The dates are going to be, it's the last week in April of 2020.
Right.
So we have tentatively the 17th, but it's probably going to be more like the 20th, going on to the 23rd, I believe.
Right.
And it's the focus is really, I've been to 53 Prides in the last 3 years, volunteering and learning.
53 Prides.
And I did that with frequent flyer miles and a friend
Bitch is
Sean
proud.
with great discounts.
I love the passion.
But you learn a lot when you go around. And one thing I've learned is that it is an addictive thing to be involved with Pride, but our community is a perfect place for people to come unite and be able to celebrate Pride in places that can't do it, like we talked about. This is a great place for them to come. But more importantly, we have a responsibility to shed light on what's going on in other countries. So this is not only going to be a big celebration, there will also be a human, let's call it a human well-being conference. We don't want to say human rights because that can put
be
people at odds.
controversial,
Exactly.
political,
So it's a human well-being conference. Bring a business conference as well, in addition to a travel industry conference, basically showing off each of these organizations and companies, explaining what they're doing to make a difference in LGBT plus hiring and rights. I mean, if somebody's pulling up their ship to a port that doesn't include everybody, that's kind of goes against what they're all about. Isn't the hospitality industry about hospitality?
Yeah.
So,
Mike, you give us a perfect segue. A perfect segue. We're putting up a slide right now telling you about some of the events that we're doing. The reason last week we announced this gigantic partnership, it's happening out with the Grand Hotel Fort Lauderdale, is to accomplish what the Pride Fort Lauderdale just challenged us all to do. Integrate tourism in, wait, Mike, we don't want you to go away yet. To integrate tourism in this gigantic vision that Mike and the people here in South Florida have. We've made the announcement, but now we really add to the sauce to the goose, as they say. Mike knows when we offered to help support Pride Fort Lauderdale in our live broadcast, which was just spectacularly successful, we have gone all in for this event of Pride of Americas in April 2020. This hotel will be coordinating events for that weekend for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and the hotel will turn completely Pride of Americas. 100% of the hotel will be supporting the hotel and the Pride event, and that will include the coordination of daytime parties, evening events, supplementing Pride of the Americas events at the beach, their events that they'll be doing, of course, including the parade and their Sunday Pride Fest event that they do. And Mike doesn't know this yet, but 12 additional hotels. This will be the flagship hotel of It's Happening Out's promotion of Pride of the Americas, and 12 hotels will join the Grand Hotel in making the weekend gay in Fort Lauderdale to support the Pride event.
And that's what it needs. It's unity, and I appreciate that because it's one of the things that we learned from the parade. When you see people literally sitting on the roof of the Elbow Room watching the parade, those businesses, which are basically straight businesses, learned very quickly, not that they weren't supportive, they were incredibly supportive, but they learned very quickly how well and how powerful our dollars are, our pink dollars, our rainbow dollars. You know, it's really amazing because when we're able to show that, you know, it hits everybody, the bartenders, the owners, everybody. So we really did a great job. And by the way, I was just watching some of the footage of what you guys did. It was truly amazing.
Historic.
And for us to have something like that, I mean, it takes a lot to put on this. You know, I understand, and I know that this is not a minor investment, not only of time and money, but of talent. And we appreciate you very much.
Thank
Mike,
you.
To finish you out, and that's the reason I ask you not to move. One of the things that you'll see in this commitment, as we showed you in the slides, is we invite you right now, today on April 10th, we're getting ready to tell you in the coming weeks, you can participate in Pride of the Americas. We want you, and you're completely invited into South Florida in one of the most amazing gay pride events that you have ever seen. One final note that we want to say personally to Mike. When we did the hosting, it's highly unusual to do a live broadcast of a pride parade, which we did. It was a beautiful event. One thing that I want to summarize that all of the hosts said as we were watching this parade, we said it live repeatedly. When we finished, almost unanimously, the host said, one of the great moments of participating in the Pride Fort Lauderdale parade was all of the students of high school marching bands.
100%.
Don't give me
Congratulations.
crying.
Congratulations.
And here's what you can look at this. We try to bring something more than just entertainment. It's supposed to be, pride is not just about throwing a party and making money.
Absolutely.
It is about giving back. It's about educating. And this Pride Parade was historic in the sense that we were on A1A for the first time, the first parade of any kind to have happen on the beach. We had our current history, our current, I guess our current history maker, trailblazer, Dean Trentalis, as our Grand Marshal. We had an original trailblazer who is part of the reason that someone was, strong enough to stand up for our rights, and that was, and our first transgender. I mean, she's only done 2 prides actually, Miss Major. And this is her second pride, and she's a transgender woman of color, 78 years old, was in Stonewall and was actually beaten and arrested, broke her jaw. She spent her life fighting for the rights of people for all of us. And then think about 50 years ago. 50 years ago, 30 years ago, would you have one person, one child, one kid from a high school in a parade marching in a gay pride parade? Never. We had 5. We had hundreds of students. And that's progress. We should be very proud.
Mike and I haven't rehearsed this, America. It's very funny because he talks about this huge moment in Pride Fort Lauderdale about Stonewall. And again, we encourage you to come to Caribbean Pridefest next month here in South Florida, and especially mark your calendar now, that 4th week in April 2020, one of the most amazing things outside of World Pride, which is coming up, that you will have ever seen, and that is Pride of the Americas. And speaking of that, Mike gives us a great transition to talk about Stonewall. As you know, each week we do a tribute of gay icons that celebrate the March to Stonewall. The 2 big calendar events over the next year is to go to New York City the last week in June and come to South Florida in the last week in April of 2020. So we celebrate tonight on our road to Stonewall this gay icon. And who better this week than to celebrate Madonna? Watch this.
People say that I'm so controversial, but I think the most controversial thing I have ever done is to stick around.
My definition of new music is something that's, fresh and reflecting of, the times, the politics, the fashion, the energy.
When I came to New York originally, I was dancing with some dance companies, and I decided to go to Paris, got into the music industry that way, and started writing songs. So here I am.
To me, the definition of being an opportunist is someone who seizes the moment and gets the most out of what they can.
What do you hope will happen not only in 1984 but for the rest of your professional life? What are your dreams? What's left?
To rule the world.
Don't just sit there, let's get to it. Speak your mind, there's nothing to it. Vote
And if you don't vote, you're going to get a spanking.
Am I right? Have you sort of pushed the envelope a little bit with each one? With every video you've tried some new things, if only to be experimenting for your own reasons?
Well, I think that's what art is all about, experimenting. But it is an expression. It is my artistic expression, and for me, a video is the filmic expression of the song, you know, a visual that describes what the song is about. And you've got to listen to the words of the song. You know, it's about a woman who's talking to her lover, and she's saying, tell me your dreams, am I in them? Tell me your fears, are you scared? Tell me your stories, I'm not afraid of who you are. And so, you know, we're dealing with sexual fantasies and being truthful and honest with our partner, you know, and these feelings exist, and I'm just dealing with the truth here in my video.
They see a kind of trend where you are pushing the limits of sexuality. In this case, you have nudity and you have bisexuality.
The video is displaying people being honest to each other about their sexuality. They're not alienating anyone, they're not degrading anyone. It's about honesty, it's about the celebration of sex. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Well, I think I've grown up a lot, and I think that having a baby is, you know, I feel like I'm starting over. I mean, I look back at my life and I go, oh my God.
Do you regret a lot of those things? I think we talked about this a bit before. No?
I had to go through, that was my karma. I had to go through what I had to go through to arrive where I am right now.
My big thing in life is not about vote for this person or vote for that person or vote for this cause or vote for that cause. My thing is take responsibility for yourself and the world around you.
Bring it in, bring it in. 1, 2, 3.
It feels reductive. Look it up.
I am incredibly disturbed and saddened by the overwhelming number of teen suicides that have been reported lately because of bullying. To hear that teenagers are taking their lives because they're being bullied is kind of unfathomable. But I feel like I need to say something. The gay community has been incredibly supportive of me. I wouldn't have a career if it weren't for the gay community. The concept that we are torturing teenagers because they're gay, it's kind of, like I said earlier, it's unfathomable. It's like, you know, we've all come together to live as one, and we have no right to judge people by the color of their skin, by the religious path they want to follow, by the sexual preference that they have.
I mean, I feel like I've been fighting for what they've been fighting for. I've been doing that my entire career. I'm glad and happy to finally have some solidarity.
As women, we have to start appreciating our own worth and each other's worth. Having this opportunity to stand before you and really say thank you as a woman, as an artist, as a human. Not only to the people who have loved and supported me along the way. So many of you are sitting in front of me right now. You have no idea how much your support means. But to the doubters, the naysayers, to everyone who gave me hell and said I could not, that I would not, that I must not, your resistance made me stronger, made me the fighter that I am today, made me the woman that I am today. So thank you.
Well, look, America, we're very proud of this segment on the road to Stonewall. We are celebrating the gay civil rights movement, June 30. In just 3 months. And we celebrate each week our march to that road to Stonewall tonight, Madonna. And we're very proud of our participation in this, and to remind you the people that paved the way. There are young people watching this show, will watch this show and go, I want to be her. So as we do each week, we ask our hosts to tell us something about what the gay icon means. And tonight, Madonna and Power, let's start with you.
Well, every single week that we have done this, I've had to look up and do some research on our gay icons. But this one, I didn't need to do any research on Miss Madonna. Madonna's accomplishments, they are many, but the one that is most poignant to me is the fact that while Madonna did not start Vogue or the ballroom scene, as many ignorantly believe, she was the one that helped to put us on the map first and foremost. She took the time and effort way before Ryan Murphy put us on the map with Pose to really bring our world of Vogue and ballroom to the mainstream masses. And for that, as mother of the Florida chapter of the House of Infiniti, I would like to say, Madonna, thank you, girl. You turned it. The quote, my favorite quote of Madonna's, "Poor is the man whose pleasures depend on the permission of another." Live for that.
Yeah. Aaron?
Nice. So, for better or worse, Madonna is the queen of controversy. I'm sure as everyone kind of has an idea. She has been canceled, banned, and blacklisted by countless entities, including Pepsi, MTV, VH1, the Alamo Theater, Japan, Russia, the Catholic Church, and a little radio station in Texarkana, Texas. At least 2 networks also cut the live broadcast of her speech at the Women's March 2 years ago when she said, "It took us this darkness to wake us the fuck up." And to our detractors that insist that this will never add up to anything, fuck you, and for good measure, another fuck you.
I didn't see that.
Carlos?
Well, let's turn it a little more fashion and cute. So from conical bras to dressing up like a bride, singing like a virgin on the stage, and who could forget the Marie Antoinette Vogue for the MTV Music Awards? Madonna is not just a material girl, but she is a fashion icon and the mother of reinvention. So the quote that I picked was, "I wouldn't turn out the way I was if I didn't have all those old-fashioned values to rebel against."
Excellent.
Nice.
So we know Madonna as the risque, controversial queen of insubordination. But what you did not know is that Madonna was actually an A student, overachiever.
Wow.
She also was a cheerleader and a disciplined dance student, which earned her a full ride to University of Michigan, which she actually dropped out of and ran away to New York, and
Because
then
of course
that's
she
what
did.
happened.
Because
okay,
Madonna.
you know, Madonna said to a record producer through her career, David Foster to be specific, she said to him as he told her, expressed his disgust of seeing 2 men kissing, she said to him, 2 men kissing should be looked at as normal. You represent everything I'm trying to change.
Powerful.
That makes me giddy.
Napoleon?
So yes, I actually was one of the few up here that didn't actually go into this as a fan of Madonna. But through some research, I became more of a fan of Madonna. I did not know that she was so helpful in individual cases at getting people's rights, whether it was AIDS or just being gay at all, heard by the masses and getting those people to accept that. So when I learned that she actually personally helped Ellen DeGeneres, who at the time she did not know at all, to come out in the controversy in the 90s when she was going to come out, and then to have some of those things said on air on Ellen's show, it blew my mind because it wasn't just that one example. She did that constantly. And so my quotation from Madonna is related to that to some degree, but even more. "I always thought I should be treated like a star." And as that applies to me, it's, I guess, because, because I've just gotten like the last little bits of everything. You know, the Jew has to leave twice in one conversation. It's fine. I see you rolling your eyes, Aaron. It's because I'm a white man. White man's bad. But I'm gonna throw that card again. You know, even in the Jew culture, they don't treat a guest that badly. So it's okay. I throw it to Al. I know it's his fault.
You went to school with Lady Gaga. You're in love with Henry Cavill. We've heard
So
about
he
this.
throws it back to me. I say broadly. I'm not going to say much about Madonna, except I've seen her twice. And
Name
one
drop,
of the
name
times
drop.
was in front row. Unbelievable production. The second show, she held the audience, I don't know, 25,000 people. She held the audience for 3 hours before she came onto stage. And about 4 people left. That tells you everything you need to know about Madonna.
And about those 4 people.
And exactly right. The one thing that I
Al
would
was one of
say,
those 4.
Again, on behalf of all of us at It's Happening, we're very proud of this segment because we're searching for gay culture. And our Stonewall celebration on June 30th is so mammothly important to us because it unites all of us regardless of who or what we are in our community. And by the way, that includes our straight allies, which brings us to this gay icon. Is there someone in America that does not universally believe that Madonna, for her entire life, has stood up for the gay community? If that is true, we have justified why she is a gay icon and is celebrated all the way to Stonewall, June 30th. And we're happy to do that tonight for Madonna.
Because I was you.
The last thing
Now
we're
I get
going
it.
to do tonight, and keep watching because we're going to do this all the way up to the celebration at World Pride in New York at the end of June. The last thing we're going to do tonight is play a game that we find very fun called Shag, Marry, Chop. Now, everybody knows how to play this game. We have people here in this bar at the Grand Hotel Fort Lauderdale. Play along with us. Just a little quieter than the big mouths that are sitting here at the table. The game is you select, with the 3 pictures that we give you, who would you shag in that order, please? Who would you marry? And who would you chop? So, let's play our first game. Let's go a little animated. Napoleon's here with us, of course. Our game number 1 is He-Man, Skeletor, or Man at Arms. I'm sorry, Man at Arms. Who wants to jump in first?
I'll jump in first.
Well,
I've always known who I was going to shag.
Yeah, 'cause you were
marry,
live
and
that
chop
year. We
here.
got it.
Okay.
So definitely I would marry
Shag
He-Man.
first, please.
Oh, shag Skeletor, marry He-Man, chop Man at Arms.
Really?
Yeah,
Very
I'm
simple.
following Power. That's the same for me. Skeletor, shagging, marry He-Man, and I don't even know who Man at Arms is.
Surprised. Who else?
I don't know who Man at Arms is either, but I'm definitely shagging Skeletor. I'm marrying Man at Arms because he looks like he's probably off busy cheating on me with somebody.
He looks
Leave
like
me to
Bert.
leave me time to do what I want. And He-Man is definitely a big old bottom, so he's a chop for me.
Oh! Now, wait.
But he's got the power.
I have to ask.
Power bottom.
Because every single person in production is waiting on bated breath for this question. Why would you shag Skeletor?
Oh, come on, really? You're gonna make me call out the obvious?
Please.
I mean, he would be literally the Prince of Darkness of all that angry sex there ever could possibly have been.
There you go,
angry
production.
sex.
And production now, every single person in production owes me a drink. Thank you. Later. Who else? Let's play Shag, Marry, Chop.
All right, I would shag He-Man. Shocker. Tastier and tastier, and Man in Arms. He looks like Burt Reynolds, and I think I'll marry him,
He
right?
does, yeah.
Yeah,
Something about him.
Skeletor scares me in bed.
All right.
No.
Everybody
Chop.
selected?
No.
No, they
All right. I would shag Skeletor simply because I love his voice, and I think that he would go some crazy places when we were shagging.
Okay.
Like crazy. I couldn't even predict it. He'd be up here, he'd be down here. Hi! Like, who knows what that would do, okay? And I would marry He-Man, of course, because he's attractive and a superhero. But he's got a big, fluffy cat. And I mean like an actual cat. So I would want to marry him so that I could
Not
spend
where
my
I thought
life
he was going with
hugging
that.
that. Yeah, a cat. And I would want to hug the animal. And then also Man at Arms. I mean, like, just chop that bitch in the third place. So that's my answer.
What y'all didn't know about Man at Arms is he's like He-Man's like, I don't know, good friend, best friend.
best friend.
But he's like such a goody two shoes.
Yeah,
He'd be
he's
so boring.
so- yeah.
More
Chop.
reason to chop.
All right. Now
Boring.
before you
See, I don't know any of this.
show it, stay with me, production. Okay, so we're going to play now game 2, and this is called the Gay Andes. Gay Andes. Anderson Cooper, Andy Cohen, or Andy Dick.
Oh my God! I thought this was going to be Andy from Toy Story for some reason.
All right, who's shagging?
Oh my God,
Let's
this is gonna
start
be
there.
weird.
All right, I'm going
Carlos.
to shag Anderson Cooper. I'm going to marry Andy Cohen, even though he might not see me directly. And then I am going to chop Andy Dick.
Oh, that just sounds
All right.
wrong.
Who else?
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna shag Anderson Cooper. He looks frustrated.
Totally.
I'm going to marry Andy Cohen because he seems fun, and I can't even take Andy Dick seriously. He's a
Now,
chop.
wait, I got to drop something in the middle of the game. You hear this trend, but the only one confirmed of the three that are bam is Andy Dick.
Well,
Which leads me to me now.
You're stuttering.
I got dickmatized.
she said, "Somebody call my name."
I got dickmatized. So I would actually shag Andy Dick.
There we go. See,
Because
it
I
moves
had the
it out of
inside-
the column
I had
A
the
to
inside
column
scoop
B.
on that even before Al
You
said
always
that.
seem to have the inside
I
scoop
do.
on
When it
me.
comes to Dick, yeah. I would marry Anderson Cooper, and I cannot be bothered with Andy Cohen. So.
Really? You don't like the humor?
I just can't be bothered.
Yeah,
John.
okay.
Yeah, so I was gonna say shag Andy Dick, but and not because of his dick, but because he just seems like he'd have the most interesting sex.
Yeah.
But then after learning that, I feel like it wouldn't really appeal to me that much with his personality. I feel like it'd be crooked and maybe bulbous. So I'm gonna go with
Pretty Dick.
yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
Dick.
yeah,
So
he
I'm gonna
talks about
I'm
it
gonna
all the
go with
time.
shag Andy Cohen because I mean if he's not
I
a
bet
bottom then
Anderson
I don't
Cooper
know who
has a
is
beautiful
other than
penis.
Al.
Yeah.
Just
And
saying.
I'm gonna marry Anderson Cooper because he seems like an on-point person who would help scheduling and routine. And if you had kids,
Are you
he'd
gonna
be the
throw
one
in
to
your
do that.
chip for this, or?
I missed 2 segments. You can shut
Frustrated
your mouth
sex.
for a minute.
And
Speaking
who
of
are
need
you
to have sex,
chopping?
and I'm gonna chop Andy Dick
Okay,
because
all right.
yeah,
Very
Dick
good.
sounds wrong.
All
We
right,
got
I'm,
it.
I'm
finally
shagging
chopped
Andy
somebody.
Dick.
You win best line of the show.
Totally.
All right, Josie?
I'm going to shag Andy Dick, and not because of his size, but because I did think that he would be the most interesting. I need some stimulation up here before we get down and dirty, okay?
Stop
That's
flirting
the
with
reverse
me.
of power.
Stop flirting with me.
Anderson Cooper is,
I would definitely marry Anderson Cooper. Another one. He's brilliant. He's conscious, and
Probably
I
into
got
the
money.
weird
Like, hey, Andy Cohen, this Bravo girl is chopping you, but I'll be your bartender though. Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Now,
Oh, so you'd
before
hook him
we
up for a
move
one-time
to
shag.
our final game of Shag, Marry, Chop,
It would've matched.
of course, everyone is infatuated with the Taylor Swift. Now, we could do a game of
Where?
Taylor and blonde, blah 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 of choices, but that's not so interesting, is it?
Maybe to her.
So let's do the game a little differently. Let's play Chop, Shag, Marry, Chop of Taylor Swift's exes.
Oh, now we're talking.
Joe
got a blank
Jonas,
space,
Oh
baby.
shit! This
Jake
is hard.
no.
Gyllenhaal,
Easy.
or
Easy.
John
All right,
Mayer.
I'm going.
This is easy.
Shag, I would go with Joe Jonas easily. He's the most attractive, and I want to know that experience at least one time. Mary, I would go with Jake Gyllenhaal. He always has the most original and creative artworks that he's performing in. And then, doesn't matter who it is, always chop John Mayer because his body should be in a hole.
Ooh.
His body.
Wow,
What?
that was-
Well, he's
I'm gonna shag Jake.
Yeah, it didn't
Actually,
land.
I can't decide. You know what? Look, forget about it.
Prince
I'm
of
gonna.
Persia. Think of him
No.
Buff and Prince of
I'm
Persia.
gonna
Prince of Persia.
shag John Mayer because I probably couldn't get past that. Okay, but I think he'll be like angsty and cool and
Very brooding.
whatever. I don't know. I just love his music, so whatever. Anyways, I'd marry Jake because he's. Have you
Look at
seen
those
his body
eyes.
in
Oh my
Spider-Man? And then Joe. I'm sorry, I gotta.
I just
talk.
learned a
All
whole
right,
bunch
I'm
of
gonna
disturbing things
I'm not
about
into
you.
boy bands.
I'm gonna
you know?
shag Joe Jonas because those tall skinny boys are always, packing. I'm going to marry John Mayer because I think he'd be like really deep and hopelessly romantic, and he'd buy
That
me
voice.
he would like buy me jewelry and shit, and always problematic. And Jake Gyllenhaal
Problematic.
seems extra problematic, so he's
His
a chop.
voice.
All right, so I am going to chop.
Shag.
I mean,
Shag.
shag. I'm gonna Joe Jonas.
Woo!
He's hot as hell. But Jake, oh my God, look at those eyes. I'll take that 10 times. And then Joe Mayer chopped.
Yeah.
Too problematic.
Everybody's played now?
Nope.
Power.
Oh, power.
No. I am going to shag John Mayer.
What?
Wow.
I'm gonna shag John Mayer
Why?
simply because I can't do Joe Jonas or whatever his name is.
And you know who you're marrying.
And I'm right. And I have been obsessed with Jake Gyllenhaal. Matter of fact, if he was still dating Taylor Swift, I'd throw that bitch down a flight of steps to get to Jake. So
why can't you shag Joe Jonas?
Because he looks too childish for me. I don't like anything that looks like a child or children. He looks too young.
Yeah.
He looks too childish.
He got no pubes.
Here's the one thing that I bring to all of your attention, whether it's Joe or Jake or John. For Taylor, he brings her a number one. He brings her a number one, and he brings her a
Ka-ching,
number
ka-ching,
one.
ka-ching, ka-ching,
So
ka-ching,
who
ka-ching.
really made out was Taylor Swift. That's all I'm saying.
Good for you, Taylor.
Yeah, exactly.
White
So
privilege
that's our game.
teens.
Shag, marry, chop. You play with us at home. It's a fun game. Well, that's our show for tonight, and we are getting ready to sign off for you. Remember, we thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you're enjoying It's Happening Out. And of course, as always, we end the show because we're hungry as hell now. All of these people are getting ready to enjoy.
And a little thirsty since we ended on that.
Of course, everybody is talking about it around the country.
Our
This is
favorite pizza
Thomas.
man.
Yeah, our pizza man, Thomas. And Thomas is with Jet Pizza. Now, it's a Michigan-based company, and they're around the country. But in South Florida, they're king in the pizza
We
business.
don't have New York pizza. So it's the
I
best we
have
can
notes
get.
from production, Thomas. Several people have mentioned to me that you have a special power, and I'm supposed to ask you about it. That your special power is that you can tell what kind of pizza someone likes just by looking at them.
Ooh.
Is that true?
Just by looking at you, I know you're a meat lover.
Ooh!
Zing!
Extra sausage. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Now,
you walked right into
Thomas, get off the set.
Leave the pizza.
All right, try Jet Pizza. It's wonderful. All right, America. We wish you a great week, and we hope you've enjoyed It's Happening Out. And as always, our hosts get to say goodnight and goodbye to you. And we'll start with Power.
Good night, children.
Good night, gender fuckers.
Good night, fashionistas.
Good night, be kind.
Good night, Ellen. Thank you for letting me know that your entire world was inspired by Madonna. Gosh.
And America, remember, we continue to point out we are searching for gay culture. Does it exist in America? We think it does, but we're exploring it every single week. And
think we spilled
remember,
some on the table.
if it's Wednesday and it's 8 o'clock, it means it's happening out. Good night, America.
Night.